Mr. Duclair would like to honor a tribute of Dr. Luther King.
It's a pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in
Martin Luther King Jr. means to my family. Martin Luther King Jr. brought a lot of hope to our family. I was very young when he died, but because of him, when he was equality today, we entitled to have things because of him. I was helpful in understanding segregation of school, restaurants, and public transports. He taught us violence is not the way to get things accomplished or solve problems. He gave us hope for a better tomorrow and for our children to come. He was a great man who stood for great things, and because of him, I am an advanced black woman. My parents did not have better, but I do, and I hope this continues for any daughter.
Is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation.
Brown. I'm Skylar Taylor's great-grandmother. This is my daughter Lisa, her grandmother, and her mother, my granddaughter Blair, her mother. And we are here to talk about what Dr. King's dream means to us as a family. We are 4 generations. Dr. King's work toward the fulfilling of his dream means that we as a family and individuals can aspire to anything and fulfill those aspirations. And we also have a personal connection to Skylar's great-grandfather Joseph, now deceased, was an associate of Dr. King. Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Today I'm going to tell you what the dream means to me and my family. To my family, it means to believe in yourself that you can accomplish all things thanks to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream. Dr. King's speech was inspiring. Today his dream still lives on through our lives. Because of him, we can all attend schools, ride school buses, and share the same teachers and classrooms together. My family believes that Dr. King was a nonviolent man that preached for peace and equality for all people, regardless of their race. They also believe that Dr. Martin Luther King had faith in his dream, and today we still work to keep faith, hope, love, and peace in our lives. Most of his life for the dream he wanted everyone. We should never forget.
Citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation,
Me and my family, we think Dr. Martin Luther King wanted no segregation. That meant black and white kids could be in the same classroom, no racism, and equal rights in America.
What does Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech mean to my family? Kerrigan thinks I have a dream means that we should all have a dream, and that it happens, there will be peace. My mom thinks I have a dream speech means that we will all be treated equally and have the same opportunities. No one will be mistreated by their race. My dad thinks I have a dream speech means that the day will come to allow all races to be able to equally enjoy things, be full its opportunities, its privilege that we only enjoy by segregation views. Kennedy thinks that we can go to church with white people without being racist. We can have food we know it's okay to eat and just be able to say friend to a little white boy or little white girl. I love Martin Luther King Jr.
To make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summit of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until that is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual.
Hi, my name is Jordan Hurd, and I'm in Miss Stewart's class. This is what a dream means to us.
We celebrate Dr. King's life by reflecting on the way he has touched our lives by his dream speech. What it means to us is that Dr. King felt like all Americans should live up to their potential and make this nation a better place. He wanted us to embrace diversity, and I feel like in a lot of ways that has happened, but we still have a lot of room for change.
The dream means a hope for a better future.
In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new military.
Mommy, Daddy, we've been learning about Dr. Martin Luther King in school, and I want to ask you some questions. Mommy, what does Dr. King's dream mean to you?
The dream is pretty much self-explanatory. Exactly what he said, that everybody would have the same opportunities for education, for advancement, for career, as everybody else, regardless of what color their skin is, regardless of what side of town they live on, regardless of their influence or the amount of money that they make, that everyone would have the same opportunity.
Daddy, do you believe Dr. King's dream has come true?
Leslie, that's a good question. I believe in some ways Dr. King's dream has come true, and in others, and in other situations it has not come true. They have come true in ways, for example, our children are now able to go to school with people of other races. Me and your mother were able to go to school with people of other races. We can now also go to restaurants and not have separate restaurants, separate bathrooms, separate water fountains. So a lot of those things have taken place. We now can have an education, and in America, you can actually achieve any goal that you want to achieve as long as you work hard and do and put your best foot forward. In other ways, the dream has not come true. For example, there's still stereotypes. In other words, some people judge you strictly for the content and color of your skin. And that's one thing that Dr. King dreamed that would not happen. So although we're not where we were, we're a long way from where we were. We do have some ways to go before we really achieve all that Dr. King wanted us to achieve in that dream.
Mom, I had to ask y'all another question. How does the dream live on?
I think the dream lives on in each one of us, that we have to remember the past and the experiences that we had, that we never forget what our ancestors went through to accomplish what they accomplished. So the dream lives on by us remembering what happened and not repeating and making those same mistakes. And I think that as long as we maintain a positive attitude and we accept people for who they are, regardless of what they look like, that the dream will continue to live on in us.
Well, Leslie, I think the dream will continue to live on through us and through you and your friends and your friends' friends. As long as you continue to share love with each other, not judge each other by how they look, what you like or what you're wearing, but basically for who you are as a person, I think Dr. King's dream will continue to live on forever and ever.